Kia ora and talofa geniuses. My name is Jazz Lilo Smith, and I would like to welcome you to the Inspire with Finesse interview series, where I get the opportunity to have open conversations with impactful humans around the globe. I ask the questions, and our guests inspire you with their finesse. So let's get the conversation started. Well, hello everybody, and thank you so much for being here with this video series. I have the amazing Navin on the call today. He is a health and wellness expert. We met through the love of Dr. Joe Dispenza, and Navin helps athletes and patients to be the best versions of themselves through amazing holistic practices and so many other things that we're going to talk about today. Kia ora and talofa, Navin. How are you today?
I'm absolutely so delighted and so grateful to be connected with you and to be having this conversation and sharing the knowledge that a lot of common things that both of us have.
Me too. So we met through the love of Dr. Joe Dispenza. I'm an avid meditator. I've been doing that every day for a few years now. How about you? Tell me about your journey and your love of the wonderful Dr. Joe.
So my connection to Dr. Joe is through my doctorate, my Ph.D. He's one of the professors, and to be fully transparent that obviously I took the classes and learned, but not until 2022 that I dig deep into his meditations. I understood the concept, but now, like this weekend, I almost want to say I meditate like 4 hours like that. I am craving that more than anything else in my life. I understand it. I get it. So now it's to a point that I want to show and share people how this very powerful thing. I mean, obviously I'm Buddhist. I don't know if you know that. So I grew up in meditation, but Joe Dispenza and through my PhD learned so much about how to do it, when to do it, in what way to do the meditation to really get to the next level.
I love that. And I think for me, I kind of discovered why it's so important to meditate, and understanding that. And then obviously the how to, I got nice and deep that it feels like magic to me. If I don't meditate, I get a bit worried that the magic in my life will stop. So I absolutely love it as much as you. But today we're going to be talking about the athlete industry, which I'm excited about. Navin, can you tell me, what are some of the biggest gaps that you're seeing in the industry today? You've worked with basketball players, athletes, regular patients. What's going on out there? What's happening?
I think the athletes and the patients just as similar. The gap of education, not really knowing, understanding what real food is. So for example, let's think about this, right? The guy who coined the phrase, breakfast is the most important, is Kellogg's, right? Kellogg's cornflakes. And how much did they earn this year? I think like 21 billion or 18 billion, somewhere around that, right? But if you let's dive deep into it. If you really look at the ingredients in the Kellogg's cornflakes, it's something that we wouldn't recommend, right? It's sugar,
yes.
It's maybe grains. A lot of listeners are maybe have a sensitivity, have an allergic to it. So the reason that I give that example is that lack of knowledge, right? So if say a student, which when we came to America, we felt like, when I came here to America 14 years old, that was the biggest treat, right? Kellogg's cornflakes and orange juice. Now you have that. Now it's about 70 grams of sugar, right? You go and you have that at 8 o'clock. You go to the class by 9:30, you're crashing. Then you're searching for something else, another pick-me-up, right? Another sugary, another heavy carbohydrate drink or pizza or whatever to pick me up. So they're constantly looking for pick me up and not so much nutritional value. Or at the same time, you could say when we look at TV or any programs that the athletes are or whoever movie stars are sponsoring these drinks, these pizza, that again, it's not what will help us thrive,
Yes.
because they are really been marketed, the person on TV is really a sponsored and a marketer and spokesperson. But what we think is that, hey, they're telling us to get the Cheerios or the orange juice or 2% milk or whatever, but it's not giving us anything back to kind of go back and answer your question is really lack of knowledge about what to eat, when to eat, how much to eat, and what are foods that we must eat, right? Like as in sugar it's something that causes all disease. Insulin and diabetes and obesity is probably the root cause of every single disease. Not only disease in the body, but mental health, because you are not at ease is disease. Simple fact that you have so much sugar that you cannot even go to sleep. Now you have supplements or creams or melatonin or smoking, another habit to help you unwind and go to sleep. Even with those, because you are taking something artificial, that the sleep quality is not there, right? So then we can repair our mind, our body, because we are not getting the deep sleep and the REM sleep. Now, next morning, again, we are in that human hamster wheel of craving a cup of coffee, 10 teaspoons of sugar, artificial milk or whatever. Then we are just constantly in the hamster wheel in the same place, one step forward, one step back. And as you and I know, that means we are not growing, we are not creating, we are just surviving in the middle of the ocean with the life vest on, just kind of staying in the same place. And that's what creates the sickness, that's what creates this very lack mentality and lack mindset in all of us, because we're in the same place.
What are some of the top maybe 2 or 3 bad habits with foods at the moment that you're seeing dominate the athlete industry? Apart from sugar, because sugar's in everything. What other things do we need to really think about that maybe we probably shouldn't be doing too much of that, anymore as well?
Sugar's in everything. So, and sugar is the root cause of everything. So if you really dive back in, so when I do functional medicine, when we go back to the root cause under the tree, what's going on is sugar. So where does the sugar come from? It's pretty much hidden in every container, every box, every packaged ingredient. So to answer your question really simply, if we can stay away from packaged food, I think that's a really good start, because
so if it's got a barcode, it's probably got sugar in it.
Right, exactly. Right. So, you just met my wife, like real quick before this call. The other day, she had a jar of chutney. I don't know if you're familiar with chutney. So it's just supposed to be, it's like a mango chutney, supposed to be like really pure, right? So it's, she just had a 1 spoon a day for the last 23 days, so it's pretty normal. So for some reason, and it's from Sri Lanka, it's a traditional food. So for some reason, I just looked at the back of it, and not even kidding you, so it's 23 servings. Every serving has 11 grams of sugar. So when you do the calculations, it ended up being half a pound of sugar that she had. So we want to really have about 20 grams max a day of sugar.
Wow.
Yeah.
How much if you eat a normal apple?
17 grams in a normal apple. So when you eat
an
then say if you have some zucchini squash or acorn squash, cup of that's like 35, right? So, you already doubled it. And then again, that's disrupting every single step along the way.
Right, because I'm thinking about, want to have coffee in the morning, and then there's the croissant, and then there might be a naughty burger at lunchtime, and then you think you have the afternoon salad to do okay, and you might exercise for 10, 20 minutes, and then dinner time, big island meal, huge Maori Island meal, and it's kind of not just gone out the window, but I haven't even done enough work to balance the nutrition back to my natural self because of everything that I've put in. So I'm listening to you going, oh my goodness, I've got a few bad habits too.
And we cannot ever, so, you know, some people say, hey, I'm going to have ice cream and I'm going to run 10 miles. We can outrun it because what it just, especially like oils, seed oils, right? Canola oil, vegetable oil, it's in every food, every container. And that gets into our tissue, gets into our fat, and that could last one meal. That fat, that what we ate from that meal, the fat that was made from that meal, the processed fat, might stay there for 7 to 9 months because it just gets embedded in us.
Right.
Yeah, if you eat a fat as in 100% grass-fed butter or 100% grass-fed ghee or animal fat, it's biologically available. We could burn it. What is made in a factory, we can't burn it. There's no way we can burn it. It's take that much longer. So if you eat one thing today, that's going to last for another 5 to 7 months. Then tomorrow, another 5 to 7 months. Look, we're catching up. We're trying to catch up always. So maybe to answer your question, a couple of things would be packet of food and just completely stay away from human-made oils, seed oils.
Right. Okay. There we have it. Human-made seed oils. Let's stay away from those ones.
Got to. And that's where, you know, people are talking about cholesterol or anything like that. That's what gets saved in our arteries much more than any type of animal fat. So the animals get blamed all the time. Yes, the animal might have a reason to get blamed because if the animal ate corn, you know, if they were fed bad things like corn and soy from factory made,
it's almost as bad as us. It's like the animal isn't natural enough eating natural grass fed. You know, it's getting fed corn syrup or corn fed foods, and then we eat the meat, and we continue that cycle.
Right? Exactly. It just becomes so my biggest thing is try to find where that animal came from. You know, can you try to source a farmer that the chicken and all the animals are like outside, they're getting sun and they're grass fed.
And they're happy?
Yeah, very happy,
they're
right?
Happy,
because, you know, when they're not happy, they create an amyloid, like a stress hormone. And that's inflammation. So we're eating the food. So yes, Jazz, gotta find some happy animals to eat.
I love that. Thank you so much for that nutrition on the food side. I wanted to ask you some questions because we're talking about the body. What about the mental state of mind, you know, for athletes and what's going on there and how can we, you know, really best regulate some of those, you know, food habits from a mental state? Obviously, if it starts from a thought to a feeling to physically doing something and becomes a habit, or I like to call our own little algorithm that we start to set, right? Talk to us about that, the mental state of mind.
I actually want to answer that question like this. Let's talk about something like really low hanging fruit. As you know, sleep is a easiest way for us to repair our brain health, right? When we don't shut down and let the brain get that deep sleep and REM sleep, get the heart rate lower. That's where our creation, right? That's where the hormones are made. That's where our head kind of goes through a car wash. It's able to turn the light off and repair and regenerate for the next day. And a lot of people don't respect the sleep, right? They're thinking, hey, sleep is for weak people, or sleep, I don't need it. Because again, lack of education, lack of prioritizing, right? They might be on the phone, watching TV, or right before they went to sleep, they were on the computer. So now we had all that artificial lighting. So the brain is constantly working, right? So, you know, you asked me a wonderful question about what about brain health, as in, can we do meditation and quiet time and reprogramming? Yes, that's almost like running in order for you to run, you got to make sure you are able to run, right? Like you have the proper mobility, stability, strength, so you can run. Your shoes are tied up, so you can run. So getting sleep is having the access to meditate. Because if you don't have the sleep and the right place to meditate and think and down regulate and be in the between, so I say the clock tick and the top, right?
Yeah.
Tick is yesterday, top is forward. You got to be now, you got to be a person, and that's where the magic happens. And if you cannot focus on the present because you're constantly jabbering in your head is trying to survive. It's like, man, get being present. I'm trying to like hang on to my dear life. So in order for us to be present, I think it really starts from yesterday, the night before, getting some good night's sleep, then able to eat right the next day. Now we could sit in one place, we could meditate, we could be present, and we could focus on what we want to focus.
The mental state of mind, I want to go a little bit deeper. I love how you're talking about the brain here, because can you talk a little bit more deeper on how important, regulation and meditation can be for your brain and sleep, specifically for athletes, those who are, they get up early in the morning, they've got to go to the gym and they've got to go to, this and got to go to this photo shoot and got to go and do that. And then obviously that they might have some bad eating habits during the day, like you were talking about before. And, how is it really, obviously that's affecting during the day. And we know that if you don't have a good sleep routine to rest well, that's going to affect you. But can you talk a little bit more about how and why, the meditation and regulation is so important for your brain, with athletes?
I mean, honestly, I think it's important for every single human being, so one of the things that I do and did all my life is, looking at people's lab markers, right? Functional medicine, really dive into seeing what's going on. People love asking me to do it. People say, hey, can you look at my blood work? I want to dive deep into it, right? So there's conventional medicine, just kind of look at the outside of the car. Functional medicine, you open up the hood and look really deep in the car. It's preventative medicine. So that's the difference between functional and conventional.
Thank you.
So when people come to get for functional medicine, what the functional medicine doctor is known for is supplements. Right? They're like, hey, your back tire is low. Here's a supplement to increase the tire pressure high, whatever, right? So all my career, like I was like a pharmacist, right? So I had all these pills, everything. But now as I'm doing my doctorate, I'm seeing the most powerful supplement. Jazz is butane over here. It's the biggest supplement, right? To a point. Where I personally don't take any, right? Because I know that through my education, through Dr. Joe Dispenza, we are able to create dopamine, serotonin, DMT, right? We're able to create all these drugs just as, so for people who's listening, like we can do studies on brain scans, and we could see what happens if you take a dopamine. I mean, when you take a drug, how's the pattern of the brain lights up, okay? Then we could get into a meditative state and we can get the same pattern to light up. So yes, that means there's no side effects. That means you can recall on this drug as anytime you want, right? So say you have a knee pain and the doctor's giving you naproxen. That means you got to take it twice a day. It has, it got 5 to 10 different side effects. That can be constipation, breaking out the skin, whatever. So you're limited. But imagine having the same positive outcome by a thought only, and no side effect. And you can create that medicine anytime you want. Not only that, very soon you probably don't need it because you're healed. via conventional medicine, it's very hard for somebody to get offer a drug or pharmaceutical because especially somebody's in a statin or mental health something, they're depending on it, right? So in a roundabout way, I'm kind of answering you here a question like literally what's been in our ears, that medicine, that medication, that meditation is medication for everything that you need in your life, for your knee pain, your back pain, for your cancer, your hyperthyroid, your autoimmune. I could go on and on and on. And it's anytime, free, no side effect, and it's a gift that's ever giving. And when we realize it and when we get dialed in, literally, I told you that I'm not taking any supplements, not even vitamin D, because we can show through research, right, that we can create anything. And also I have the knowing and the skills to do my own labs and see and compare. Times that I took medicine, supplements, was times that I'm just meditation. So it's just really incredible. This conversation is it won't really get into the masses because, you know, like I was telling you, people who come to me still want that the vitamin C pill or vitamin D pill or whatever because it's convenient, right? Meditation, it takes effort. It takes, people think, doesn't really take effort, but people think, hey, I can't meditate, I don't have time, so we want something convenient, even though that's the most expensive, even though that's the longest route, you know?
It's interesting. It's almost like you'll get up and put yourself through stress to go and work in a really hard job that you probably don't like, to make money, to go to the chemist, to buy a drug to help you go to sleep so you can wake back up in the morning and do the whole thing again, over and over and over again, for months, for years, for decades. No wonder why we get sick. No wonder why I got rheumatoid arthritis. No wonder why I ended up with Graves' disease. You're talking about hyperthyroidism. That really loves to elevate anxiety, right? Anticipating the future, right? And it's like, take a moment, and instead of moving too fast or slowing all the way down where you're doing nothing, that is the now, hey? And I love how you say that, because as a child, I saw a couple of psychologists, and one of them had said to me, you know, Jazz, I think you should try meditation. And I just remember thinking, you know, a chatty little kid going, how are you going to get me to sit down and be quiet? And then I have to be quiet with myself. So my first experiment of meditation was, this is not quiet. This is the loudest I have ever heard the world. And it's scary, I think. It seems easier to people to go out and do the rush. But what I have found is that when you do sit in that meditative state and you have to listen, you also have to feel. And I think that's the part that people love to run from. As I'm listening to you, I think, gosh, everybody's out there wanting to do this and do that and get rushed and do that. And it's because we out here not wanting to feel our feelings. And I think that's the hard part. That's the heart work. I like to put people out here, we do really, really hard work in our lives, and we've got to get really smart. You put those two together and you put an HART, and you come out of the mind and even out of the body and out of the environment, you overcome your time and the environment and things like that. And you get into that heart work. I really feel like, you know, that is magic. That is what people would call a miracle. Because what you're saying is true. And I'm super excited to hear someone else say it, because I've been a walking testimony to what you're saying. And it is very hard for people to understand. How can you be the way that you are, Jazz? You're a totally different person. And I say, meditate.
It's just not, you know, no one's going to make money off of telling somebody to meditate, right? No TV program, no doctor, no company. They gotta sell you something so they can make their billions of dollars. So if they can tell you something, then how can they make money? So I think now how also at the same time, that's where all the research come in, because the companies are doing research on their pharmaceuticals or orange juice or whatever, right? And they can really no one can really do that much research on being grounding or getting outside or being quiet, you know. And it's an ancestral wisdom, it's religious wisdom, and that's healing without really needing anybody else. You're the driver. Be the CEO of your health, be the CEO of your life, you know, not really constantly depending on somebody else to write a prescription, something to drink or something to smoke, because those are supplements, those are really drugs, right? Those are addictive. The reason that you're constantly craving a drink or constantly craving a cigar or constantly craving this food is because we're trying to cover up or run away or fill up a void. If you can create all that within you, it's just like you're high every day. You have a drink every day because you're creating that feeling. You're creating the feeling of abundance, the feeling of love and gratitude.
Yes.
So you need anything, really don't. So you just want to constantly give it to your family, friend, your dog, your wife, your horse, and then they're like, oh my God, I want to pay the for right now. Look, it's just the whole world. It starts within you. Now it makes your house, your work, your gym, your country, your city. Like it's just,
and the universe, the multiverse.
Right?
Yeah, it just goes. Yeah. Why would you stop?
Why would you stop? You know, we're like, oh my God, they're having a war. Oh my God, we are getting entangled on that. But we can't really do anything, but we are getting tangled in our head, we are chattering. But instead of that, imagine we go inside, we meditate, we're being present, and we're projecting love and healing and kindness. First of all, you're healing yourself, right? And you're healing everybody else. So it's just a win-win situation. Like, it's just so easy, like literally, like when those practices came into my life and I started understanding and I started to implement it. You know, all of us have bad days, right? But thoughts, we can create it to be a great day. Like, I'll tell you a quick story.
Yes, please.
So I actually told this to my wife. Yesterday I was in the gym and I'm looking around and I felt like my energy was down. And I'm looking around and I was kind of facing the treadmills and all that, and I see everyone's head is down, everyone's in their world, they're breathing hard and just kind of being miserable in my interpretation. So I'm like, okay, first of all, if I'm seeing somebody, that's my reflection that I'm seeing. So first, let me change me, right? It's all about me. We gotta change us. Forget changing your wife, your cousin, your sister, your dad. It's us. So first I'm like, wow, that's a reflection of me. That's the mirror that I see it on somebody else. Let me change it. So I'm like, all right, oh, it's great. Look at me. In the middle of the day, I get to go to the gym. It's so amazing. So I changed it. And I just kind of like project this smile. And like every person that I came across, I smiled and like, I just gave love. And I saw like 2-3 people like, hi. Like, they're like, okay, hi. You know, like a nod. So not only I was able to change my surrounding, my glow, my awareness, but I was able to help someone else, you know, without even doing, seeing, talking.
Well, that's what Dr. Joe talks about, how it's magnetic, okay? It's like that whoop, 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 but you just, it's like you saw the mirror and you went, no. I don't want my reflection to look like that. I'm going to change it. And just with the thought, it becomes automatic when you do the work, and of course it becomes magnetic, and then other people just do it. They just do it, and it's just wonderful. And some people say, how are you so happy? And I'm like, how could you not be? Like, look at this wonderful world. And they're like, but there's a war going on. And I'm like, I know. And it's not a good thing, but let's pray, let's meditate, let's do something to really help the world get out of war, because we don't have to sit in that misery. You know, we don't have to go to the gym and walk really angrily because, you know, we're there and we're here because I have to lose 5 pounds. It's like, I want to go to the gym because I'm excited about losing these pounds, and I'm going to smile and I'm going to walk and I'm going to say, I love that. And we need more of that every day. And it is work. And you're right. We have bad days. Gosh, I have very bad days, you know, but I love how did you do that? How did you get to that? How did you see that? How did you know that your perception was your reflection?
I love the word that you use, magnetic. I think we are magnets, right? I would say that in my life, again, I always go back to myself. Change me, then change everything around. I actually want to share a story with you later on about that. Remind me. So you said magnetic. What I love about that is that if you don't like something around you, ask yourself, I'm a magnet. How did I attract this? If you don't like the server, the cashier, whoever, if a dog come and start barking at you, okay, why did I attract this? You know, what was I giving off? Why did the angry man come and yell at me, or when I was driving for no reason? Like, why did I attract? You know, let me go back into myself. Let me ask my question, self, am I that person? Am I reflecting that? Am I angry? So I try to, you know, fix myself, and then the world becomes so beautiful, right? And I love what you said about being happy and losing weight, you know, going to the gym. So when you are unhappy, when you head down, you actually become heavy. You actually become very toxic, where scientifically, like Joe Dispenza always talks about, science bring, you know, holistic and everything together, right? It's the medium. So when you are angry, when you are stressed, we're actually producing cortisol.
Yes.
Cortisol is almost like the termite in the house. Cortisol is what holding or collecting this extra pounds. Cortisol is what's helping us not go to sleep. You know, cortisol is what's, you know, giving us the arthritis or whatever, right? So we are the ones who's creating this cortisol, the stress hormone. So we are the creators. So it doesn't matter how much supplements you get. It doesn't matter how much sleep you get, how much nutritional food you eat. If you're constantly creating cortisol because you're constantly worried about the wall or the neighbor's car or the trash man or the dog or whatever, constantly have a war inside your own head, no one can help you, because that is disease, because you are not at ease. You're creating a toxic environment inside, and it's going to manifest it as a cancer, autoimmune, bags under your eyes, something like it's going to manifest some kind of pain, because that's the way that our body is asking for attention.
Wow, if you've got a war going on in here, no wonder why we've got a war going on out here, hey? So if we get right with ourselves, then I just think if you do you and I do me and we do we, then that's how we get world peace, right? Yeah,
I mean, that's something that as so I'm 45 years old, as I, you know, grew, that I tend to start realizing it's about me. It's not about somebody else. Don't try to change my dad or my family or my wife or my cousins or my neighbor. It starts with you, because they have their own journey. They are living the best way they can. You know, don't get involved in their stuff. Let's heal me. Let's mind my life, and then everything else be around it. Because when I start to project that life and the light, they're gonna come and ask you, hey, how come you like doing this or that? Then you could help them. You know, until then, leave the ego alone. You know, that's something that I learned, right? We want to go and worry about the neighbor's grass and the neighbor's parking garage because of our ego. You know, but go within, leave the ego to the side, go within to heal and be within yourself.
Speaking about the self and you, Navin, can you tell us a little bit about what you do? How can we get in touch with you? Websites, links, please feel free to share your screen. Tell us a little bit about what you do and how people can connect with you.
What I do is really help people be the best version of self. What I mean is that, all of us have something that's kind of holding us back, health or mental issues or sickness or something that's kind of holding us back and not being the best version of ourselves. So trying to figure out, are you being the best version of self? Is there some holes that we could fix and thrive and get out of the survival and create to thrive? So that's what I really help people. So that might be starting with the blood panel or evaluation of your body, as in like it could be that your toe pain what's causing all this stress, and that's what's causing you lack of sleep and all that, right? So we just got to figure out like what is going on. So that's what I do, especially in America, but I do have people from other countries that ask about looking at an MRI, a consultation or whatever, blood work, and I have a website is navinhealth.com. And I put some stuff on my IG. It's navin.head. So that's my IG. And, I try to connect with amazing people like you, Jazz, and have a podcast called 9 to Thrive with Navin, and just really listen to people who are thriving. And it's a 9-minute podcast. Ask, the guest, what is their number one thing that they do every day, or that the advice that they want to give us for us to thrive. It's about sharing and empowering and thriving every day, creating every day.
I love that. Create to thrive. That sounds amazing. And we'll obviously have all of the links there for you guys to get in touch with Navin. I've loved this conversation. I'm sure we'll have many, many, many more. But before we leave, Navin, do you have anything else that you want to share, or a piece of advice, or even your favorite quote before we close off?
I think just want to share, what I am doing to do right now. I think it's the easiest thing that I really encourage everyone to give it a try. Just really go within you, just like you that 10 years ago, if somebody said, hey Navin, meditate, I'm like, man, I'm too busy to meditate.
Yes, so don't have time,
right? So I think it comes with age, it comes with understanding, it comes with running into people like you that really value, who have done the work and could share and empower. So I think that's what I'm doing right now, showing people, empowering people, and guiding people on how can they be the best version of themselves, be the CEO of their life, their health, their success. We always think, we need something, but no, we have everything that we need in us. Let's go and get that. And when we get that, when we touch that, when we feel that, it's so magical, just like that you said. It's just really magic. It's just incredible.
Thank you so much. Well, you're magic, Navin. You're incredible, Navin. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And there you have it, guys. Make sure that you check out all of Navin's links down below and get in touch with them. Thank you for being here for the video series Inspire with Finesse, and we will catch up again soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jazz. You're so kind. Amazing. Appreciate you so much.